Life doesn't always give us love when we are ready for it. Sometimes it gives us love when we need to grow. When we are still learning who we are, still chasing purpose, still fighting our own battles, that is when real love appears, not to distract us, but to strengthen us. Today's story is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about how love becomes stronger when two people choose commitment over comfort, growth over fear, and truth over illusion. This is the story of Kelsea and Chase, a story that reminds us that real bonds are built, not found. Love that grows stronger always begins with courage. Not the loud kind, not the dramatic kind, but the quiet courage to take a step forward when nothing is guaranteed. That's how it started for them. No perfect timing, no certainty, no clear map of what would happen next. Just a decision to reach out, to be open, to risk being seen. And that decision mattered more than any perfect plan ever could. Because love doesn't reward those who wait endlessly for the right moment. It rewards those who act with belief even when fear is present. Courage in love means choosing honesty instead of protection. It means saying what you feel without knowing how it will be received. It means opening your heart even when you've been disappointed before. They didn't hide behind pride or play games to stay in control. They showed up real, knowing that being real always comes with risk. And that is where strength is born. When you choose courage, you give love room to breathe, to grow, to become something meaningful instead of something temporary. Every strong bond is tested at the beginning, not by obstacles, but by hesitation. Do I take the step or do I stay safe? They chose the step. They chose belief over fear. And once that choice is made, everything changes. Trust starts forming. Connection deepens. What was uncertain begins to feel solid. Courage becomes the foundation, and from that foundation, growth becomes possible. This is the truth people often forget. Love doesn't need perfection, but it demands bravery. Without courage, love stays stuck at the surface. With courage, it evolves, strengthens, and transforms into something real. And that first brave step is what turns a possibility into a powerful bond. Real love doesn't ask you to stay comfortable, it asks you to grow. Comfort is easy, but it never creates strength. From the very beginning, they understood that love should never trap you in a smaller version of yourself. Instead, it should challenge you, push you forward, and demand more from you, not in pressure, but in purpose. They didn't hold each other back to feel secure. They stood beside each other so they could rise higher together. Growth in love means respecting ambition even when it's demanding. It means understanding that two people can walk the same path without walking at the same pace. They allowed space for dreams, for effort, for becoming. And in that space, love didn't weaken, it expanded. Because when love supports growth, it gains depth. It becomes resilient. It becomes something that lasts. There were moments when comfort would have been easier. Moments when staying the same felt safer than changing. But they chose evolution over ease. They learned that growth requires patience, communication, and the willingness to adjust without losing identity. That is not weakness, that is discipline. Just like progress in life, progress in love comes from consistency, not shortcuts. When two people commit to growing, love becomes a force, not a feeling. It becomes motivation, it becomes energy, it becomes the quiet voice that says, I'll be better, not just for yourself, but for what you are building together. They didn't compete with each other, they elevated each other. They celebrated improvement, learned from setbacks, and understood that growth is never linear, but it is always worth it. This is what separates strong love from fragile love. One seeks comfort, the other seeks progress. And when love chooses growth over comfort, it doesn't just survive, it becomes unstoppable. Every strong relationship faces challenges. It doesn't matter how perfect the beginning feels or how natural the connection seems. Life will always test you. Distance, misunderstandings, external pressures, unexpected events. These are the moments when love either proves itself or fades away. What they understood from the start is that challenges are not obstacles to avoid, they are opportunities to grow stronger together. They didn't see difficulties as threats. They saw them as tests of commitment, patience, and resilience. When things got hard, they didn't walk away. They stayed, they talked, they listened even when it was uncomfortable, they admitted when they were wrong, forgave when it was necessary, and never let pride or ego dictate the choices that mattered most. Every challenge became a lesson, every disagreement a chance to understand each other more deeply. This is how bonds become unshakable, not in perfect harmony, but in the way two people navigate storms together. True love is proven in the moments no one else sees, in the quiet decisions to remain loyal, supportive, and present. Challenges also taught them perspective. They realized that life will not always go according to plan, and love cannot be forced to fit circumstances. Instead, it thrives when both people adapt, compromise, and prioritize each other even in difficult times. They learn to celebrate small victories, to comfort each other in setbacks, and to see each challenge as a bridge rather than a wall. Every trial, every test reinforced the trust, respect, and admiration they had for one another. The power of love is revealed not in ease, but in perseverance. Facing challenges together didn't weaken them, it strengthened them. And that is how their bond became real, enduring, and extraordinary. Authenticity is the cornerstone of every lasting relationship, and they understood this from the very beginning. They didn't try to be someone they weren't, and they didn't hide behind masks or pretense. They showed up as they were, honest, open, and unafraid to be vulnerable. That kind of courage is rare, and it is what allowed their connection to grow deeper with each passing day. When two people can truly be themselves, without fear of judgment or rejection, trust forms naturally, and love becomes resilient. Authenticity doesn't just make a relationship stronger, it makes it real. Being authentic means embracing both strengths and weaknesses, and they did this together. They celebrated each other's victories, no matter how small, and offered comfort and understanding during moments of doubt. They didn't need grand gestures or public declarations to prove their commitment. They relied on the simple, quiet honesty of showing up fully for one another. Every conversation was meaningful, every moment genuine, and every choice intentional. They understood that authenticity is a daily practice, a choice to remain true even when life pressures you to perform or conform. In love, there is no shortcut to connection. Pretense may create temporary harmony, but only authenticity creates a bond that can withstand life's storms. They prove that when people show their real selves, when they speak their truth, admit mistakes, and reveal vulnerability, love doesn't just survive, it thrives. Being real with each other became the glue that held them together, the force that allowed them to grow not just as a couple, but as individuals. The lesson is clear: love that is built on authenticity is unshakable. When you are real, when you are honest, and when you show up fully for the person you care about, the bond becomes stronger than any challenge. And that is the power of authenticity in love. Love is not a single moment, it is a choice, a commitment renewed every day. They understood this from the start. It wasn't about dramatic gestures or perfect timing. It was about showing up consistently, even when it was hard, even when they were tired, even when emotions ran high. Real love requires attention, patience, and effort. It is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you create, nurture, and protect. Every small act matters. Listening without judgment, celebrating each other's wins, comforting each other in loss, sharing laughter, sharing silence. All of these moments build a foundation stronger than any grand display ever could. They chose to prioritize each other in daily life, not just in moments that looked good to the world. They understood that love grows when both people invest equally, when they lift each other up, and when they accept each other fully without trying to change or control. They didn't just fall in love, they grew in love. Every challenge they faced, every difference they navigated, every small victory they celebrated together reinforced their commitment. Love became less about passion and more about partnership, less about feelings and more about choices made consistently over time. The strength of their bond lies in the simple truth that love is a decision as much as it is a feeling. Choosing each other every day, standing together through highs and lows, trusting in the connection even when things are uncertain. That is what transforms love from fragile to enduring. In their story, we see that the real power of love is its ability to sustain, to inspire, and to transform lives when both people commit fully. And that is why love, when nurtured and chosen consistently, always grows stronger.